Characters are, of course, important elements in fiction. Characters might be people, things, or animals, as it is the case, for example, in George Orwell's well-known novel Animal Farm, in which all the characters are animals except Mr. Jones, the farmer. Now, it's not enough to have characters. Characters need to be worked, they need to be developed and dramatized in order to be influential. This technique of the dramatization of characters is called characterization. It is because of this characterization that we, as readers of literature, come to identify with some characters, to love some characters, to sympathize with some characters, or even to hate some characters. It is this technique of characterization that show and demonstrate the skill or even sometimes the genius of authors. It is the characterization which makes, or at least good characterization, which makes some characters memorable and unforgettable. For example, who doesn't, in English literature, doesn't remember Hamlet, or Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, the great Mr. Gatsby, or Evan Squiller in Animal Farm. Characterization takes two forms. Direct characterization, in which the author tells us about the characters, explicitly says what the characters are like. For example, the narrator or the author might say that the character is kind and loving, or such and such character is arrogant and mischievous, etc. The other form which characterization takes is indirect characterization. That is, we are indirectly shown or indirectly told about the characters. That is, rather than being told about the characters explicitly, we are shown what the characters are like. And this occurs either through dialogue or through the description of their physical appearances or their actions, or by having access into their inner thoughts, or through their effects on the other characters. That is, how other characters view them. So we know about the characters indirectly without being told explicitly what they are like. We are shown that, we are not told that explicitly. This is a task for you to do. Read these excerpts and decide which type of characterization is featured in these examples. Is it direct characterization or indirect characterization? Leave your answers in the comment section on the Google Classroom platform. In each story, there are major characters, that is, important characters, and minor characters, that is, insignificant characters. The protagonist is a major character in the story. He is the good guy in the story, the guy around whom the events of the plot revolve. He is the good guy, the guy who's trying to achieve a goal and whose actions drive the story or the plot forward. The antagonist is the character who stands in opposition to the protagonist, the character who impedes the progress and development of the protagonist. The antagonist stands on the way of the protagonist, preventing him from achieving his goal. There are, of course, other types of characters like stock characters, foil characters, but we leave that to another occasion. Just keep these two in mind for the moment. Functions of characters, okay, how are these characters like? There are different types of characters. There are static characters, dynamic characters, flat characters, and round characters. Now let's move on to a diagram which will help us retain the properties and characteristics of each of these functions. Static characters remain the same throughout the story. That is, they do not change, they do not evolve and develop. This is the case with some heroic and charismatic characters. Odysseus is an example, although this is an epic. Dynamic characters, on the other hand, undergo change and transformation, whether material or psychological. A dynamic character often plays a central role in the story, and he is or she is often the protagonist of the story. Dynamic character is often a flawed character, that is, he suffers or she suffers from shortcomings and weaknesses in his or her personality, which makes the change sometimes worthwhile and desirable. Another category is the flat character. Flat character is has one attribute, one trait, and that's why he or she is one dimensional. They are stereotyped, or he or she is a stereotyped character. They are often not interesting in the story. In opposition to flat characters are round characters. A round character has different traits, and his personality is complex. He has a good and bad sides in his personality. Round characters are often memorable and unforgettable. Take, for example, Hamlet in Shakespeare's play, who is noble, intelligent, yet he is unable to take action. He is, even when he does, he takes hasty decisions. Another round character in a short story which you probably read, Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. We remember Tissy Hutchinson, who by the end of the story underwent a transformation and became aware of the danger of the whole game or the whole game between two inverted commas of the lottery.